And we're back. Welcome, Mr. and Mrs. Dicecaster. I'm glad you decided to click on this video again against your better judgment, I'm sure. So, today, we're going to pick up where we left off with our best role-playing moments. Let's start with that.
I will start. And I will say the moment that really clicked for role-playing for me was with Nexus's torture scene.
Okay.
Just because of the simple fact that I was like, oh, I have to pick this up off the top of my head, and now I have to create a lie and try to I have to give this guy information because I'm being tortured, but I can't give him everything. Or I have to give him some false sense of truth. So we were sneaking in, or attempting to sneak in to behind enemy lines, and we got captured because of a dragon. But that's another story. Once again, I hate acid damage, but
Black Dragon.
Black Dragon,
in
man.
particular.
Just keep throwing that acid at me. So we got captured, and he woke up, and we started getting tortured. And he was like, "What's a drow doing here?" Because I played a drow rogue, and I told him that I was selling or attempting to sneak into his lands and talk to his leaders and sell him weapons from the drow. Which I don't think he bought it.
Probably not.
Probably not. I wasn't rolling very good that night. And I mean, that's part of it, man. It's like sometimes the rolls are with you, sometimes they're not.
But the thing is, that's the first time he was really playing that deceitful kind of backstabby guy where he had to think on his feet and he had to be in character. It was a really good time because a lot of times with players, we'll hit a moment where it's like, okay, wait, is this happening or is it like this? Whereas when you can hit like this sweet spot where you're just in your character and you're just like, this is what I would do next, this is what I would do next. And yeah, Nexus was like, that was your first, I would say, real character.
Yeah, real character.
Because for a lot of it was you getting introduced to a higher level of game.
Yeah.
So, like, the same thing with mine. Like, my first character was Savage, a luchador, right?
Yeah.
But he wasn't my first character. My first character was Exia.
Yeah.
And he's also the dude I had the best role-playing moments, I think, with, which is weird because he's a Warforged, and I specifically kind of made him a very emotionalist kind of character. And then, like, slowly, like, throughout the course of the campaign, it kind of got brought out of him for him to be more emotional. Especially given that, like, of Warforged, she was, like, the only one that he knew, and all the other Warforged were, like, on the other side of this war that was going on. So there was a moment where we were on behind enemy lines, because it's a military campaign, and we find more of his brethren. He wakes them up, and he leads them out, and, like, in a coup, and, you know, has them, like, kind of get set free, or at least he was like, that's what his plan was. And then the rest of the party kind of goes, awesome, we have like 100 Warforged to do with whatever we want with. And I go, no, we don't have, they can't, we don't have anything to do with them. They don't have to do shit if they don't want to. So, like, that's where we kind of adjourned the game for that day. And then he was like Ethan, our DM, comes up and he's like, hey, if you want to try to make Warforged not fight, you're going to have to, like, do a speech or something. So I was like, awesome. So I went home and I wrote a speech, and Exia like the next week, Exia sitting there is like going into him. It's like you don't have to do anything you don't want to. Like, yeah, it's not what you are anymore. Like, you're not a race of slaves, no matter what they tell you.
I think that was just good because you came in and knew. I didn't realize that you wrote an actual speech because when he came in with it memorized, so it just seemed very off the tongue.
Yep. Sometimes you do that.
Sometimes you do that.
I've done it quite a few times.
Did you rehearse at home?
It's a good part of ending it right at a good moment.
I rehearse at work, but that's more in my own head.
You have to rehearse to, like, your coworkers, like, as if you're trying to inspire them
You're
to
trying to
rise against.
Because a lot of times I have, like, you know, I'm a cook, so it's a lot of times I'm just by myself, so I'm just sitting there just like, just sitting there, like, thinking to myself while I'm making a salad.
Just ferociously making the salad with so much passion. I think currently my favorite, or my, where I'm at with role playing right now is like almost like meta role playing, because I'm having a lot of fun just making other players like mad around my table by being evil.
Or corrupting other players.
Yeah, or corrupting other players. The corrupted player doesn't mind. One of the other players minds that I'm corrupting him. And I just like annoying this guy a fair amount, which is just fun. And
it goes back to the last video where I said like it's so fulfilling as a DM where you can like make a situation and just have one of your players go, "Ah, damn it!" and the other one's just going.
Yeah, it's like our friend Ethan. He's like trying his best to play a good character, and like my character went from having almost no personality to being like evil incarnate, and his character's just not adjusting to it well.
Mm-hmm. Now, see, here's what I would like. This is what I would do is if it was playing my character, I would like try to like. Because we have, like, the series of events where he's a very emotionalist, like, I don't care, whatever you want to do, I guess I'll do this kind of person, to where now we've gotten to the point where he has a plan. Yeah. And I would, like, as a player, like, try to break that down and say why, like, what happened, what is the steps that's lead to this way, what's this character now? Like, that's what I've done, like, with Exia. He, like, literally got broken out of a box and said, all right, who do I need to fight? And then it all culminates into this moment, really, for him, where he's standing up giving a speech to other Warforged, telling them that you are not a weapon. You are a living thing, and you have a choice.
And, I mean, throughout the entire of that campaign, the rest of the party was slowly also trying to humanize Exia. Maybe not humanize, because there was only one human in there, but trying to give him more emotion and develop. We got him to party with us one time. That was pretty funny.
Well, and see, I also turned that into a role-playing moment, because how that turned out to where we had all gotten captured, and we had all gotten, like, I don't think we all got tortured, but we all got captured by vampires, and, like, Exia blamed himself, because that was the first time he ever lost a fight, was him getting, like, suplexed into unconsciousness by another Warforged. And, like, he blamed himself for why they all got captured. So there's this moment of merriment where everyone's like, hey, we did it. We're all good and we're all secure. And, like, they've, like, gave Exia basically a shot that made it so that he was going to get drunk. And he was like, he basically looked around the table and he's like, I'm just a liability to all these people. And he left. Like, I just, like, said, like, Exia gets on the table and walks outside. And then, like, another character goes, like, well, I'm going to follow him. And, like, he's not there.
Yeah.
Because Exia has way too fast a land speed. And he ran away from home, basically.
And he's super sneaky.
Mm-hmm. And that was just another roleplay moment. It's like where he was like understanding, like, oh, this is what these people mean to me, and I'm not any good to them. Basically, he was very emo. He's very an emo character, but I feel like he kind of earns it.
But he kind of earns it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, just because he's went through so many trials and tribulations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like our conversation about how the Thrallherd class works kind of made me think about how to play my character a little bit more. Because basically he gets a couple of followers, quotations.
A couple of followers.
A couple of followers.
A couple of followers, a lot.
And, we had to talk about what that meant as far as, are they friendly followers? Are they basically just minions? So I was like, let's just make this minions.
Are they capable of independent thought, or are they just like brainless zombies walking around? Which I feel like that's one of those DM things where it's probably better to do somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Because that way...
If you give them too much thought and autonomy, then you have to actually try to, like, humanize every character, whereas you could just make them a mass of, like, basically zombies.
Yes.
Which is basically what he has now.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of kind of cult people that don't really know where they're standing. They just know they need to follow that guy.
Yeah, they just need to do what he says. They need to do what he says and everything will be fine.
But when it comes to, like, I guess, like...
We need more orgies!
Singular moments.
Why? I don't know.
When it comes to, like, singular moments, I think, like, my favorite, like, almost entire session of... It was almost nothing but roleplay was our first session of the pirate campaign.
Oh yeah.
Because they were like, he wanted to do like a kind of a basic, oh, you're all meeting a tavern, and I was like, I don't want to do that. So like my guy Captain Marvelous literally comes walking out of the ocean, like just like steps up onto the shore, and he's like all in pirate garb, and it's like water dripping down him. He like walks up to the bar that's on the ocean, and he's like, hey, what can I do for you? And I go, and Captain Marvelous goes, I would like a glass of water, please. And that guy goes, I think you've got enough water. I go, you're literally the most hilarious man in the world. Can I please have a glass of water? And like, then after he gets that, he jumps up on a table and he like, he's a bard, so he starts like, like spinning a tale, like saying like, oh, who wants to join this pirate crew? So the only people that really speak up are the party, of course. And I guess he gave us our DM gave us also an NPC. And they were like, so where's your ship? And I was like, I'll be right on that.
I'll be right on.
So I walked down to the docks, and I found like the one boat that had like one person like still working on it, and like I was like, hey, where's your captain at? He's like, he's gone. And I go, you're right, he is gone because I won this boat in a bet. He's like, no, you didn't. And I roll a bluff check, and I'm like, oh, you know your captain. He couldn't resist a few jabs and a good round of poker. And he's like, that son of a bitch. So I caught that, and then like as I'm like about ready to set port, the port master comes up and he asks for the papers. I was like, oh, I just won this in a bet. And he's like, well, you need to go get the papers. I'm like, shit. So I just ran down to the store, forged up grabbed a ink and quill, forged up papers, and then like as I'm doing this, the shopkeeper's like, this is never gonna work. I go, oh yes it is. And then I go and I grab a flag and a veil, and I just dunk it in there and then splash it on myself. And I walk up to the port master, and he's like, what happened to you? I go up there, I come to claim my ship and get the papers. This guy, because I beat him in this game, has been getting drunk. So yeah, of course, he gives me it, and I hold up this crumpled piece of thing that looks vaguely like it could have been at one point papers, and I go, and he just fucking crumples them up, throws them in my face, and dumps a flag and a veil on me.
What an asshole.
And the guy just goes, oh, that sounds like a rough day. Well, I won't keep you any longer then.
I won't keep you any longer.
So I got a free boat, and I didn't even have to pay the
You
port
stole
tax,
a free boat.
Whatever.
You did the 5-finger discount. I still think that was probably my favorite character of yours.
Mm-hmm.
Was just because he was so off the wall and spontaneous.
There is a video on this channel where it talks about the time he killed every other party member because they decided to mutiny.
Yes.
Also, I think was a very good example of roleplay because the
Yeah.
entire time I'm kicking these people's ass. I'm like, stop! I don't want to do this.
I don't want to do this.
So, okay, we've had, I guess the one player that is not here who always wants to chime in is Ethan, our DM. And he would always want to say how great a character Kryn is, because he is. It's legitimately like the only like lawful good character who's stuck to lawful good as best he possibly can. Except for situations where he can't, like where he had to make a deal with basically the devil to keep his friends alive. And that was an example of like trying to play a lawful good character while doing, I guess, an evil thing. So that would be my question. Like, whenever you're playing a character, how do you play with alignment?
I think we should save that for next time.
See you on the next episode.
Also, at the same time, you go back to playing video games and you're just like, that's not what I get. I got good and bad. I want me a morally gray. Where's my middle ground here? And I felt like that's